Are you going through a season of pain, of problems? Are you being persecuted? Are you being pressured? Are you going through a time of suffering, of sadness, of sorrow? Are you in the midst of affliction, adversity? I don't know what's going on, but I do know this. No pain, no gain. When I was in school, I used to run long distance. And my coach used to yell at us while we were running, and you could tell you're getting tied up with the pain. It's hard to break through. You've run a couple miles, it's hard to keep going, and he would yell, "Run through the pain, run through the pain." Weightlifters, understand, if you want your muscles to get bigger, it doesn't happen. It only happens if there's some pain, if it hurts a little bit. No pain, no gain. If you've got kids, they want to learn to walk, you want them to learn to walk, they're going to fall down. They're going to hurt themselves. They're going to get some bruises. They're going to bang on their nose and get a bloody nose. It's okay. That's how you learn. If they never went through the pain of falling down and getting up and falling down, they'd never learn how to walk. James chapter 1 gives this encouragement. It says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing this, that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, patience, endurance. But let endurance, perseverance, have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and mature, lacking nothing." Trials lead to maturity. Pain leads to gain. Romans chapter 5, Paul, he's talking about some of the trials he's been through, and he says it's okay. We're blessed in the midst of this. We have joy in the midst of this because our pain produces proven character and hope. Exodus, the book of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, into Joshua. The children of Israel escaped slavery through 10 miracles plus the Red Sea. Amazing thing. They got out of slavery after 400 years as slaves in Egypt. But then they had to go through the wilderness before they could get to the promised land. Maybe you're in a time of wilderness where it's dry, it's lonely, it's dark, nothing's happening. It's a time of wilderness for you. Hang in there. You got to go through the wilderness to get to the promised land. Oak trees. Oak trees are expensive compared to a pine tree in my country because pine trees, the wood's not very strong. Oak trees, the wood is much stronger. And the strongest wood of the oak trees come from the oak trees that are on a hillside where there's a lot of wind because they develop their strength when they stand against the wind. The pine trees blow down when the wind blows. But oak trees put their roots down deep. They get stronger through the wind. No pain, no gain. Pearls. How do you get a pearl? Beautiful, white, smooth, luminous gem. How do you get one? Well, the oyster gets a grain of sand inside of it, and it irritates the oyster, and it secretes some fluids around it, and those fluids become a pearl. No irritation, no beautiful gem. The only way to get a pearl is through the irritation of an oyster. 1 Peter chapter 1, he says, we rejoice in the fires of affliction. Why? Because it refines our faith. It purifies our faith. It burns off everything that's not faith so that all we have left is pure faith in God. Maybe you're in the fires of affliction. Well, God wants to purify your faith. So you don't have, maybe it's your health and God doesn't want you to trust in your health. Maybe it's your finances. God doesn't want you to trust in your finances. Maybe it's your abilities and God doesn't want you to trust in your abilities. He wants you to trust in Him. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, Paul says, well, we go through our suffering so that we learn to get consolation and comfort from the Lord so we can help other people in their suffering. If you want a ministry, it comes through suffering. You want to increase your ministry to others? It comes through suffering. Seasons of suffering lead to seasons of ministry. No pain, no gain. I want to encourage you today. It hurts. I get it. It's painful. It stinks. It's awful. But that's how we grow. That's how we get blessed. That's how we get in a position to bless others. I'm Dave Early. Thanks for joining us today. We do this type of teaching 5 days a week. You can join. You can follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we want you to share these videos with your friend. God bless you, and hang in there. If you're in the midst of pain, remember that's how you get gain.